Hey everyone, welcome to the Just Your Average Fangirl podcast. My name is Jordan Orlando,
And I'm Natalie Painter.
and we got a jam-packed episode today. So,
Indeed.
I guess we could. Do you want to start off with Falcon and Winter Soldier? Because that the finale, if you don't know, was last Friday. So spoilers for the entire season.
Wow, it ended so quickly, I gotta think. I really hope there's a season two. I saw something that there might be a season two, or like it's confirmed that there's season two, or even someone was like, there's a fourth Captain America. But yeah, so I definitely think they're gonna continue the story, but I don't know how or like what they're gonna do with it. But yeah, I really liked it. It honestly, I liked WandaVision better, but I just love the characters in the show. I love Sam and Bucky, and I think they're so much fun. And I really liked how you could see their relationship at the end starting to just like bud, and they're starting to be more comfortable with each other, and they're starting to trust each other, and I really liked that. And also, oh my god, the new Captain America fit is it slaps. I love it so much. I was watching it with my parents and I literally like yelled when I saw it. I was like, yeah, like it's so good. Oh, I love it. I love the way it looks. I think it's so cool. It's so suiting. The wings and the what's it called? The shield. Oh, it's perfect. It's so cool. I love it. But yeah, I liked how they ended it. It did seem a little too quick. The show itself felt a little too fast paced, and they just kind of like slammed everything at the end together. But it also kind of worked in a way. I think it's kind of yeah, leaving more space for them to continue the story, and continue anything else with it. But yeah, I thought it was really fun. But yeah, definitely the ending just seemed a little empty to me. Like a lot of stuff happened, but like they just kind of like left off with Zemo. Like, yes, there was like a little blurb at the end, but they were just like, okay, peace, and then he like left. I was just like, oh, okay. And then they definitely did like a little hinting at the Sharon,
Sharon, yeah.
yeah, a little hinting with her, and even a little hinting to the US agent. They're just like setting up little things, but I just want more already. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say right now. But go ahead a little bit.
Yeah, so I was actually gonna ask you that, which one you like better, WandaVision or Bit. I think it's interesting because thinking back, I also did have my issues with the finale, but I feel like for me, WandaVision just had like so many highs. But and then this was always sort of more consistent. Like if WandaVision was like a heart rate monitor, it would be like a beating heart thing. Whereas I feel like this would be like, I don't want to say flatline because that makes it sound like
Flatline.
it's negative, but it was always consistent to me, if that makes sense. I do think overall though, like I liked WandaVision more too.
Mhm.
I completely agree with a lot of what you said. However, that a lot in the finale felt um sort of rushed. I was talking to one of our mutual friends, and I don't know, could I say his name? I don't know. Shout out to Julian, because we were talking about it too, and yeah, he also had similar sentiments, and I think I really liked all the stuff with Sam, like the outfit, all the stuff with his what he was doing and how he did it, like this fight with Carly. I thought all that stuff was great. I feel like with Bucky, he didn't really do that much in the finale. Like, I thought, like, I was hoping there was gonna, because we had that scene sort of at the beginning when Bucky and Sam were fighting the super soldiers together, but they couldn't really work well together. So I thought in the finale it would maybe like pay off where we see them fighting the super soldiers again, but this time they're like really good at working together. But we don't really see that. And so I just wish there was a little more of like Bucky and Sam working together. And I also feel the with I also felt with John Walker, like I don't want to say like I feel like his turnaround was a little too quick.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it really set him up. I feel like as being very I don't want to say corrupt, but like he was gonna go out and get this revenge. But then he just sort of like saw the truck and was like, okay, now I'm gonna work with them. I don't know. I just feel like his turnaround was a little too quick
Yeah.
for personally. So it's like, oh, okay, he's working with them now. Okay. So yeah, that just didn't. I don't want to say it didn't work because again, they set up the U.S. agent and with that, I just wish there was more like of him, like so we could see also that turnaround for him.
Yeah.
And I also I wanted to make it sound like I hated the finale because I absolutely didn't. I just had like it was like kind of like WandaVision in a weird way,
Yeah.
where I feel like the finale, like compared to like The Mandalorian, especially season 2, where the finale was just so good. So, you go into these shows expecting, oh my God, it's going to be great. But, and also Julian pointed this out, it was pretty much mostly like one sequence throughout the finale, like the fight, which I feel like might have maybe that limit might have limited their ability to really have that development, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I will say the cliffhangery stuff in WandaVision actually worked for me, like with Wanda kind of going off and stuff. And even like the idea, like, oh, now Monica's gonna follow in the footsteps of her mother and or like go up into space and be a hero. Like to me, that was obviously setting up future stuff, but it still in a weird way felt conclusive, if that to me at least, if that makes sense. Whereas here, especially with like Sharon, I just felt like it was so like okay, like I feel like that like her being the power broker was just so glossed over. Like I don't know, like did she like I don't know, I just feel like there should have been more like I don't want to say weight to that, but then it's just sort of like, oh, you're the power broker, she kills Carly, oh, you're off the hook, all right, now I'm gonna do more bad stuff. I was like, okay, but isn't this what you wanted to like be part? Like I just felt like if she was in this such powerful position, I don't know, it just felt too glossed over for me, and just like, oh, we're just gonna leave this open ended, the setup, future stuff, probably Captain. Which oh, by the way, I think it was confirmed there is gonna be Captain America 4.
Nice.
Yeah. So I feel like I would put the show around the same range as WandaVision, even though I personally liked WandaVision better. I feel like just they're both around like a 7 out of 10 for me, but even though entertainment wise, I think WandaVision is definitely higher for me. But yeah, overall, I really liked the show. I think Natalie and I both feel the finale was just kind of rushed, if
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you made a lot of good points. I'm gonna forget all the things I had noted in my head to reply like back to, but I'm gonna do my best. Anyways, um, first things first, what you were talking about with the relationship of Bucky and Sam and how they were fighting in the beginning, and then this last episode we don't even see them like interact with each other until the very end, basically. And I guess the only time we did see them fighting cohesively and like coherently, whatever, together is when they were fighting John Walker. And I really like that moment, and I wish they had more of those kind of moments in the show where they're working together. And I was watching this one interview with Sebastian Stan, and I don't know if it was a really long time ago or something, or it might have been recently, but he was talking about how the Winter Soldier has gotten so many like shows and a lot of focus on his character and development that Sebastian himself was like, I really want them to go into Sam's character more and kind of see what his story and past and what everything is, which I like that they did that more with this show. So I understand that there wasn't too much focus on Bucky, but there wasn't a little bit. And Bucky, I love him so much. Now I wish in my heart, I wish there was more content, but we already have so much Bucky content in a way. Um, Also, man, Wyatt Russell is such a good job. His character is so dislikable. I love it. It's so good. And what you were saying, okay, yeah, like thinking back on it, the whole show itself was so rushed. Thinking of the content they have and the storyline that they have going, they could have stretched it out so much more, especially for WandaVision. Like 8 episodes, I think. They could have done this show in 8 episodes too, if not more, honestly, because there's so much stuff going on. And they really like cut things short and jam-packed it together. Like with the power broker stuff, maybe they didn't want to give too much because they want to have other seasons and other series coming after this, but a lot of it was just like, oh yeah, there's this. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. But there's this. Like just weird hints at stuff that wasn't necessarily explained or gone into depth with. And even for John Walker's quote unquote redemption seemed so rushed. Like we get this glimpse of him building the shield in the episode before, and we get to see him with it for like 5 minutes, and then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna help them now, like I don't need this shield. And it's like, come on, like there could have been like such cool stuff. And he's a great actor, and he's playing this like insane kind of like unstable character so well, and I wish we got more of that because I think it was so entertaining to watch. And it was funny, I was watching the finale with my mom, and I was like, man, he's unstable. And my mom's like, no, he's not. And I was like, are you kidding me? Did you not see like anything that happened in the series before? And then she's like, oh yeah, I guess. But it's such a fun character. And at the end, he just like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. The ending was really rushed. Like in my head, now that we talk about it, I'm like, well, that's kind of annoying, but I understand it at the same time. And another thing I wanted to talk about was Sam's speech at the end was so good.
That
I
was
was cheering along with it. I was like, yeah! I thought it was amazing. I really liked that. Going back again, his suit was so cool. I think that's one of my favorite suits so far. It's just so much fun. Um, but yeah, they could have stretched out the series a lot more. There's so many things that they could have gone more into, and I even for Bucky's therapist, like they just kind of mention that once and then forget about it until the end. And he's like, I brought you a gift, even though she was like a bad therapist. And there was parallels between him when he was like with what's it called? Hydra, and he was like being in the chair and they were reading the book. There was like parallels to the cinematography in that scene, but they never went off of that. And it's like, well, if you're doing that, like, is it just because like Bucky's like own mental state, like, oh, he's remembering the memories of this while he's also through therapy, so it's not positive for him? Or is it like, oh, there's actual parallels? Like, I don't know. But I wish they went into everything a little bit more. It seemed surface level for the most parts. But it is a good series, and I did really like it. And I think these two characters are so interesting, and I want them to go more into it. Like it's just it's so surface level, honestly. Like in my head, it's just like, well, yeah. But for WandaVision, like you really get the juice of her characters. Um, like there's their passion and their like relationship with each other and all of that. It's such a fun universe. And I really liked it. I really liked WandaVision not only because it was such like a fun, colorful, like weird world, but also because like it was serious and fun at the same time. And it was easier to watch in a way, and there was variations of things going on. But for this show, yes, it was good that it was more serious and that's they were talking about more important issues and stuff. But it was very what you were saying with like the flatlining thing, not that it's bad, but it was very consistent on what it was doing. It was lots of fighting and not as much storytelling in a way, even though there was storytelling. It was just yeah, very consistent. And looking at the finale of WandaVision versus the finale of this, what you were saying is how it was all one sequence of the fighting at the end. Versus in my head, WandaVision didn't seem like the whole thing was the fighting, unless it was. I'm not sure.
I think it was.
There was just that one fight scene with Wanda and Agnes. That's the main fight scene, but I felt like there was more things going on at the time of that. And even oh yeah, even for the finale, they just like kill off Carly's character so quickly. Like they I think it makes me mad, honestly. Like in my head, I was like, oh, this is fine. But now looking back, I'm like, but you could have done so much more. Yep.
Yeah, I just have something to add to that because yeah, there's that scene with her and Sam, and I just want to like highlight something you said that I totally agree with. I thought all the stuff with Sam was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
It was just some of the his speech at the end, him giving that like tribute room to Asaya, is that his name?
I thought it was like Isaac in my head. That's wrong. Isaiah.
Isaiah. Yeah, I thought that was really touching. I thought Bucky going back to see the father of the man he killed was very touching. But with the thing with Carly too, that kind of, I don't want to say it made me mad, but like, they're fighting. He's like, I'm not gonna fight you, and it's like really like, and then she dies, and she just kind of is like, I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry about what? You were still gonna kill all those people. Like there was just like, I'm like, are we supposed to feel bad? Her whole character, I feel like, especially towards the end, I just never got like a clear like what I was supposed to feel. I don't know if that makes, like, I know she's like a kid and like what she was fighting for was something meaningful, but she was still like, it was just a little, I wasn't sure how I was supposed to feel at the end when she's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, about what? You were still gonna kill all those people? Like, I was just wasn't sure I was supposed to, words, what I was supposed to feel about her. And then like with John too, like I know we're supposed, but like keep in mind, like some of the best redemption arcs, like if you think about Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, spoiler alert, his redemption arc took 3 seasons. So, and it's like considered one of the best redemption arcs in like television history. So when you just pretty much have like a moment where, okay, now they're redeemed, it's like, well, okay, I'm supposed to like this character now. What's happening? So I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And going back to what you were saying about Carly's character, I, in my honest opinion, and I feel bad for saying this because she is a cool character, I hated her character so much. Like,
She was a great character, but she was a terrible character.
exactly. And it sounds mean when I say that, but her character just did not make any sense. Like, something just felt so off about it because I don't know, it just made me stressed because honestly, she was in the wrong for most of it. Like her like only like thought in her head was the good part was her being like, oh, I want to help these people, I want to help these people. But the whole time she was like, oh, we just need to kill a lot of people like to do this, like we just need to do all these things, and they're all things that you shouldn't do. And there's moments when Sam's trying to like get that into her head and like trying to talk to her, but she's just like denying all of it, and it's very frustrating. And yes, there are characters where they resist these ideas, but the way she resisted them just felt so weird in my head. And the way she just died so quickly also felt weird. And yeah, it made me mad. She was like, she planned to get these hostages and everything. And she was like, oh, we're going to use them. We're going to use them to bargain. And then she's like, I'm just going to set fire to this truck. Like, dude, like, yeah. It just wasn't, her actions don't make sense. And I guess it might be something where it's like, oh, she's a kid, so chaos and stuff like that. But it was just like, I don't like that. Um, oh, what was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say, but I'm gonna say something else real quick. Going back to the character redemption and stuff, makes me so mad. They could have done such cool things with John Walker's character.
Yeah. Like I think he is he an antagonist? I guess so.
Yes, I think he's one of the greater antagonists of this.
He's a very good antagonist. And yeah, I think that's why we both just wanted like more of him. Even if he did got a redemption arc, I feel like if we have been given even like 3 more episodes, like from the end of the last episode. And also, who was that lady that like just came? Val was her name. She just, I thought she was gonna be like part working with the power broker. She just showed up and was like, okay, you're the US agent now. I'm sorry, but like, what's the point of introducing her in episode 5, one episode before the finale, and then she just shows up at the end of the finale? I'm sorry, I just had to get that off my chest.
No, it literally did not make any sense. Unless they must have a second season in mind, because there's so many things they did. It's just like, what the heck? Like, dude. Yeah.
Okay, I know we are getting worked up, but I think we did both like it.
Honestly, I did like it, but like, I'm just nitpicking at this point, honestly, because like I liked it and I wanted more. That's the issue I'm having with this. Like, going back to John Walker's character, I definitely think that's like one of my favorite like villain characters so far. I mean, not really, but like I think it's just his character is really fun in a way where I just wished, honestly, if they had it where Carly was more of a subplot and off to the side, but John was more the villain of the story. And it was more him trying to attack her. Like it was more focused on that way rather than Carly. And does that make sense? Like the sides flipped, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really interesting and a lot more fun because there's just more juice to that character and there's more like you can understand all of it in a way where we get that one scene of like, oh, you created me, you built me, like all this stuff, and you understand from his past about why he's making all of these decisions, why he's so corrupt, and why he's so like has all this power gone to his head. But with Carly, you don't know enough about her past and you don't really know enough about her as a person to understand why she's doing this and to understand why she's corrupt with making these decisions and all that stuff. Like she was like, I wanted to be a teacher, and then that's all you get from her. And it's just like, how do you connect that to what she's doing? And that's what I think the biggest mistake was, because they focused too much on her, but they didn't give enough of her.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Yeah, I feel like I think one of my main issues with WandaVision was that like Agatha just ended up being sort of a standard, even though the actress was great, her character was just very standard. Whereas what like I think what you were saying, what I loved about John Walker was he was so unique for a Marvel like villain. I don't think there's really been a villain like him, say
Yeah.
for I can't even think like, but yeah, he's very unique. So yeah, I totally agree. What would you say? Where would you like? I don't want to say rate this, but like, where would you put it in your head?
I honestly, okay, so this is once again, I feel mean saying this on my part because I did really like the series and I did like enjoy all the characters. But honestly, I would give it like a 6 out of 10,
Mm.
maybe even less. But I do love these characters. That's the thing. Like based on just the characters, like based on John, Bucky, and Sam, like 8 out of 10. But the whole show itself, like 6 out of 10. Honestly, like yeah, honestly, no
No,
saying that.
yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd say 6 out of 10 too. In my like, I don't know, because I like use Letterbox a lot. So in my head, I'm like, okay, blah blah blah. So I think 6 means like it was good. I think after watching the finale, like overall, like I think before the finale, I would have put it like a 7. But like
Mhm.
after, I feel like it's more like a 6, especially after talking to you about it and like getting kind of. I think though like yeah like the characters were like what really carried it, but I think like I can really see myself rewatching episodes of WandaVision more than
Exactly.
this. I
Yeah,
mean, we already know Loki is going to be 10 out of 10 without even watching it.
I'm so excited.
Oh,
Oh,
by the way, I actually saw something really funny because I follow a lot of like fan art accounts, and I saw one where it was Homelander and John Walker like together, which I guess transitions us to episode 7 of The Boys.
real quick before before we move on to the boys, I'm trying to find what episode it is on Disney Plus, but it's just my screen isn't letting me like scroll to the side. Um, what was the one episode? Honestly, I think it was the episode where wait, hold on. Is the episode where they go to like the party and they're like trying to pretend to be those people and John Walker kills the guy at the end the same episode?
No, the party I want to say is episode 3, and the one where he kills them is episode 4.
Really? Okay, so I guess honestly, okay, if they stopped it at episode 4, 8 out of 10. Like
Yeah.
they it was to the point where it's like they're not giving us enough and it makes sense to end it there because it's like everything's about to be set up, but the way anything after that was they finished everything way too quick, so it doesn't make sense. That does that make any sense?
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, I don't know if it was like maybe like if this was the plan or if like maybe they did need like another episode or two. Like I don't know, you know?
I saw something where they had to change or had to, I don't know if it was had, but they changed the story before they like finished, so things got a little jumbled up. So that might be it.
That makes sense.
Well,
Not gonna lie, I could. Oh,
no,
sorry.
no, no.
No, I can see that. But that is to say, I am like all the stuff with Sam was great, and I am very excited for Captain America 4, where I'm sure we will see more of, hopefully, of John and Bucky and maybe Sharon, and hopefully get that conclusivity that we both want.
Yeah. Honestly, I could probably write a whole essay on John right now. And I hated his character in the best way possible.
Yeah, he was.
It's like Downton Abbey, there's this one character, Thomas, and oh my god, he makes you so mad. Like I've never like actually no, on I could talk about Downton Abbey for hours. But anyways, my least favorite characters are Mary and Thomas, but I like Thomas more, even though he's like the meanest, worst character in the show. But he's so good at it. And you just like love this character, but you despise them at the same time. And that's what it's like for John. It's so cool. Honestly, like in my head, I'm like, whoa. But yeah, going to the boys now. Episode 7, I just watched it. I can't honestly remember exactly what happened because in my head, anytime I watch a show, all the episodes just like kind of morph into one. So it's a little bit jumbled up that way. But I think, oh, okay. What happens in this episode, you find out a little bit more about the butcher and his wife and like what was going on with that and how she had a baby but she died during childbirth and so did the child, and there's whole tea with that, and Homelander was like really like thrown off with that. And okay, real quick, I just hate Homelander so much. Like I can't take it anymore. Like there's not a single redeeming quality he has. He's just like ugh, he makes me feel gross, honestly. Anyways, off topic. And then the whole, okay, you finally like Annie finally finds out about Huey and like all the tea that's going on with that. I think that's really cool. Interesting. Okay, so at the end of the episode, the butcher like literally shoots Annie and she just like falls, but Huey like goes to her for a second and then he runs away. And I feel like that's so out of character for him in a way. Like I feel like because he cared about Annie so much and because he was trying to like reason with her and be like, I'm not a bad person, like I trust me, like I know what I'm doing, like not yeah, but that I feel like he wouldn't leave her because by him leaving her, that's her like that's him proving her own point about you're a bad person, like I don't trust you. So I thought that was a little fishy and that kind of frustrated me. Also, was it like a literal bullet or like a fake bullet? Because I don't know if it was a literal bullet because she survived it. How did he know she was gonna survive? I don't know. Unclear about that. But
I could tell you, but I don't know if you want me to.
don't tell me.
Okay.
I'll find out soon enough, I guess. Um, what else happened? Oh, okay. I'm thinking out loud here. But A-Train, yeah, he goes to Huey. He holds his dad hostage, and then Huey's like, "I have Compound V," and A-Train like poops his pants, and he's like, um. But I thought that was really interesting. Oh my god, wait. But honestly, I love the Deep. I think he's such a weird character, and he's just like they just banished him, and I think that's so funny. And he's just like on his own. Like I don't know if this was the episode before, but he was like writing his memoir. I think that's so deeper a memoir. I thought that was really funny. But yeah, that's all I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask you some questions then. And give. Okay, I have one redeeming quality for Homelander. The actor who plays him is really cute. Okay, that's my redeeming quality. But I love the scene where he's talking with Vogelbaum is his name, the rich guy, and you just like and he learns about what happened to Butcher's wife and how. Oh my god, I just like for me that scene was the first time you realize like why is he like this? Like he grew up in a lab essentially, and then oh my god, when he's like you should have grown up with a family, like like Superman did, and then they fabricated this whole backstory where he's like he was a farm boy in baseball, and you realize he was just grown up in a lab, And then he says, like, I'm the world's greatest superhero. And then Boko Haram's like, you're my greatest failure. And it's just like, oh my God. Just brings you chills.
Honestly, yeah, I didn't even realize that. Okay, so there is, I don't know if that's a redeeming quality, but there is like sympathy. Like there's some like that's
I wouldn't say he's redeemed, but you can at
yeah,
least understand
fine.
why he's the sociopathic Superman. Like, why is he like this and Superman wasn't? Just like sort of that, I guess, thinking, I
Yeah.
guess.
Um, Going back a little bit, I mean, this doesn't really fully apply, but I saw this one thing where it's like, yeah, John Walker and Homelander are very similar in many ways, and I'm like, yeah, that's true, but John Walker, of course, is more like understandable in a way, and I think the interesting part about them is they both think they're so great, and at the same time, they both know sometimes that what they're doing is wrong, and it's a little interesting because going back to the scene where Homelander is like trying to save the plane, but not really. And he just like yeets out of there and kind of like is like, who cares? And then like saves it at the end where he's like, if only we were there in time. Like, that's such like a jerk move. And it's really interesting. Like, yeah, I hate Homelander's character, but it's an interesting character. And I'm like, I like analyzing it in a way.
Yeah, no, Homelander is despicable. He's like fucking what's it? Sorry, Thomas. Because I seen the first 4 episodes of Downton Abbey for a assignment, but yeah, he's like one of those like, oh, you hate him, but he's such a good antagonist that you want to keep hating him.
Dude, you have to watch Downton Abbey. Honestly, I don't know if you like the first 4 episodes. I was like iffy on them, but then I'm like almost done. Like I'm on the second to last season, if not like on the last season right now. It's really good. Thomas just gets worse as a character. So much stuff happens. Oh my god.
I hated Mary. I was like, why is the focus on her? She's such a I like her sister better.
There's so much I have to say. Um, oh my god, are you gonna watch it or no?
Not in the recent, because I wanted to know what happens with what's his name, Will and the girl.
Mhm.
Will, and so I looked that up, and then I know what happens to another character too. I won't spoil it in case, but yeah, because I wanted to know, because I at least knew I wouldn't watch it in like, I don't want to say recent memory, but like right now, even though I did really like, I was intrigued by the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, like I don't know. They're doing us so dirty. They've literally killed off all my favorite characters. I'm not going to say who my favorite characters are, but definitely my least favorite character is Mary with all my heart. I literally can't even. Oh my god, I cannot. I cannot even like describe the hate I have towards her. She's the worst person. Honestly, in my head, like her as a person is worse than Homelander. This is such a stretch, but like in the way where it's like she's just normal and has no like there's no reason why she's this awful. Like her sister is amazing. Like one of her both of her sisters are like so much better than her. She has a wonderful family, but yet she's just like this despicable person. Like, oh my god. And like Homelander is like a jerk in a way where it's like interesting, where it's like you hate him, but like with Mary you just like she makes your soul feel dirty, and yet the whole show's focused on her, and I just cannot comprehend why. And I was talking to Miss Bro, our acting teacher, about this, and she was like, I just love Mary. And I was like, oh my god, I cannot talk to you anymore. That is heinous. Ugh. Anyways, back to what we were talking about
So
before.
yeah, I had to get that away from first 4 impressions, and I'm so sad that the hate for Mary doesn't go away. She's just like with Homelander, you're like, okay, he has like a god complex. With Mary, it's just like humble yourself, woman. Like Jesus.
I don't your hate doesn't go away, it only gets worse, and she's the main character, so she's never going to go away. And it's just like, come on, why? And they kill off all the good characters.
Oh, oh my god. Anyways, that's less hateable characters. Sociopathic Homelander. No, but I thought that whole. Were you surprised at that revelation that she was pregnant with a son?
I was not. I was like blown away by it. I did not think that was going to happen. And I know the butcher says like, oh, she was raped, but it didn't. I don't want to like read into it, but like she seemed to be like okay with having this baby. Like she seemed like I don't know. I it seemed like
Remaining blank, so I don't give you
yeah, okay, okay.
options.
Anyways, I don't want to talk on the topic just in case like spoilers or anything, but yeah, like there's so much tea going on. And I was really surprised by that. I didn't think that's what have happened to her character, and it's kind of like even more distressing because there was hope for Butcher before, like, oh, she might come back, she might be alive out there, but we now know for sure she was dead and that she was carrying this baby and just all of that stuff. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Losing like and yeah, oh my god, wait, was this the episode where not Homelander, Butcher beats the shit out of that one soup?
The one who can like read minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was brutal, man.
I know.
Brutal. Oh my god. Oh, by the way, the funny thing about I don't know why I love Huey's dad. He's just so innocent. He's just like a little dad.
I know. I really like that actor too. I think his dad is so fun. It's like a nice contrast to everything because it's like so out of place in a way.
Yeah. So actually, fun fact about Huey's dad, who's played by actor Simon Pegg, who is in Shaun of the Dead, a fantastic one of my a great movie.
I really want to see that movie.
So good,
It's
I
on
love
my
it.
watch list for like this longest time. Ugh, I need to watch.
So good. Yeah, but it's actually really funny because in the original The Boys comics, Garth Ennis, I think is his name. The if you look it up, the original Huey in the comics was modeled after Simon Pegg at the time. So casting Simon Pegg, yeah, as Huey, because obviously at this point he's too old to play Huey, but as Huey's dad was kind of like a little like tongue in cheek nod.
I love that. That's so cool. That like made my day. Honestly, that's so cute.
Yeah. Oh my god, the scene though. Yeah, the scene with A Train. Where and then I just love it when the female just comes out of nowhere and breaks his leg open. Was like, dang. And you also get really interesting insight into A Train, another infuriating character's like sort of like mind thing, like mental state where he like blames Huey for the death of his girlfriend.
I totally. I completely forgot about that whole like back and forth between them, but that was so interesting. And as horrible as it is to say, a part of me was like, well, yeah, actually, like he was the one that's been like killing all these people. Like not even like anyone else in that little group. Huey has literally been the one to kill everyone so far. Like, ugh, and it was really interesting. Like that was, it was so weird because I like felt sympathy for A-Train in that moment, where it's like, oh, that like kind of stinks. Then I was like, but you're crazy and like you've done all these things and like you're addicted to this like drug and you're just so corrupt. But it's and you killed her literally. But you're in your head, like, I don't know if this was just me, but in your head I was like, yeah, Huey. Like I was like, no. But yeah, that was a really interesting moment. I really like the moments with A Train so far that are like oddly sentimental and like really real. Like right before he killed this girlfriend, he was like, "Oh, remember our first date?" Blah 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 blah, and you're like, "Aw," and then he does something awful, and you're like, "Aw."
Aw. Just yeah, and oh my god, Starlight, like I felt so bad for her when she fought in like the worst way possible too by freaking Homelander. When and then she's like willing to like hear Huey out, like you have to make sense of those, and then he just runs away, like you said. And then also in that scene, oh my god, I have to point this out before I talk about where like Homelander is accusing Starlight of like being a spy,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, "You have all been damn light sloppy, not you, Noir. You've been great." And then it's like the funniest moment.
I love what they're doing with Noir. I think that is like literally one of the funniest things in the world, where it's just like blah 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 blah, but Noir. Like, they just throw him in every now and then. It's like, yeah, like he's doing good
It's
one.
like you've been great, Noir. We also though in that scene see Maeve standing up for Starlight a little bit.
Yeah. I really like Maeve. I think she has a good energy to her, and I like how she's kind of like sticking it to Homelander. Like she really does not like him. You can tell that, and I like that.
Yeah. I just felt so bad. I think it was episode 6 where they're doing like the reality show, sort of, and then like her girlfriend, her ex-girlfriend, comes back to talk to her, and she realizes I shouldn't have done that, and her camera's watching. So she's just like, oh, what if I just wanted to hook up? And then you're like, no, but like you didn't want that, you know?
Yeah. Do they like the rest of the soups and like the company know that she's gay or no? Or is that like a spoiler?
She I'm not gonna say. Sorry.
Okay.
But okay. The deep in this episode, I need a moment. Okay, can we talk about the scene that took years off my life? The guild
Oh my god, no.
fingering
No,
scene.
just erase it from my memory.
Oh, it was so nasty.
Ugh.
That obviously doesn't redeem him, speaking of redemption. But it's like, okay, like now, because then the next scene we see him like buying a bunch of crap. And then it was so sad when he just went up to the lobster and he's like, "What's up, man?" And he just gets another sea animal killed.
I think it's so funny. Also, when I was watching that moment, I was like, this actor, like, doing something that is like the funnest thing in the world. Like, he does it so well where he's just like really like invested to talking to this lobster and then it just cuts back and there's just a lobster. Like, I think that was so funny. I love when shows do stuff like that. It's the best.
Oh my god, this was like oh my god, the deep was so funny in this episode. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Like as awful as his character is, he's one of my favorite.
This is so entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it, but in season 2, he also has some pretty funny moments.
I can't wait.
So yeah, I guess those are our thought. Do you have any thoughts, predictions for the finale, which you're getting up to?
Honestly, I don't at the moment. Like, I don't. My mind is just blank. Like, I'm unsure of what's gonna happen, and I don't want to like think things into reality. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited to watch it. I can't believe I'm already at the finale. Like that went by really quick.
Yeah, the finale is wild. Oh wait, just to make sure, you don't have class at 1:20, right?
I don't think so. Yeah,
1:20 is 10. Okay.
my next class is dance, which is after that.
Okay, yeah, we're recording this during school hours, so I just want to make sure it's like, oh, missed my class. So yeah, I guess it's time to get to our main event, or sort of the Natalie recommended the this movie called The Little Vampire, and would you like to explain why?
Yeah, okay, so it started off, I was watching Downton Abbey, of course, and at one point I looked up the actor who plays Carson, and like the little vampire popped up, and I was like, no way. Because in my head, this movie was just like so distinct, but I could not remember a single thing in it. And I was like, well, we gotta watch this. Because like I just remember loving this movie so much. And honestly, I love this movie so much. Like I fully thought it was a great movie. Like I had so much fun watching it. And yeah, do you want me to do a little summary of it, or do you want to do a little summary?
You can do summary, and then I'll do just some, I don't want to call them stats because that's what this other podcast I listen to calls them, but just like some information in case you want to find this movie or learn more about it.
Yeah, okay, so basically this movie's about this little boy who just moved to Scotland and he's in this new house and he's having these really vivid dreams about vampires. And he's like trying to tell his family and like his class, and everyone's just like, psh, you loser, like blah, 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 blah. And then one night, as his parents are away, I think, a little boy vampire flies into his room and like hisses at him and all this stuff. And then somehow they like, oh yeah. And then so I'm the worst at explaining things, but I think it's so much fun. So this little vampire like tries running away, but he's very like low in health because he's just been like hunted by this other vampire hunter, which is the actor who plays Carson, Rookery. And so they become friends by the little kid whose name is Tony is helping this little vampire whose name is Rudolph, and they become friends, and they find out that this dream that Tony has been having is like something that's actually true and is going to happen. And they spend the whole movie trying to look for this amulet that's basically going to help these vampires go back to their human form or just not be vampires anymore, because no one really wants to be a vampire in this movie. And short story short, is that the right phrase?
Long story short.
There you go. Oh my god. Anyways, it's a happy ending. They find the amulet. They fight back Rookery, who's the vampire hunter. He doesn't have so much of a happy ending, but everyone else does, and all is well. And Tony gets to see Rudolph again, and they're friends, and they're all human. Basically, that's it. Do you want to do some of your stats?
Yeah. I guess it's too late to say spoilers, but I mean,
you should assume so if you're listening to this.
Yeah, just assume we're gonna be spoiling things. Okay, so yeah, some information. So The Little Vampire came out in 2000. It was directed by a German director named Uli Edel, and this seems to be one of his few like children's movies he's made. Before this, he's directed an episode of Twin Peaks, an episode of Tales from the Crypt. He also directed a couple of movies, for example, the Bader Meinhof Complex, Last Exit to Brooklyn, amongst others. It seems like he's worked on a couple other TV shows, and it stars most notably Jim Carter of Downton Abbey fame, some other people who I'm gonna pull up. Where's the people? Oh, here it is. Alice Cridge, Jonathan Lipnicki, Richard E. Grant, who is that the other Downton Abbey person?
He's also on Downton Abbey.
Yeah. So I remembered that scene. It's like this is one of those movies where I remember one scene specifically, the vampire cows. And like nothing else. So I went into this like having no like nostalgic value of like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like a really cute movie and actually holds up surprisingly well, except for some of the CGI stuff. But like it was a very charming film that actually had a lot more creativity than I was anticipating, and some like creepy imagery too. Like the dream scene with like the vampire guy like floating down on him. I would have been like, oh my God, like as a child. But yeah, if you want to continue your thoughts, those are just some of my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I really, really like this movie, honestly. First of all, the little kids were so cute. I'm not a huge, this sounds awful. I'm not like too big of a fan of just like children in general. I mean, I love them, but like, I don't want to be watching them for the most parts, but they were so cute. He was literally so tiny, and just like my mind couldn't comprehend how small this little boy was, and he was just like acting in this movie as a lead. And something to point out that I thought was so funny is like a lot of the scenes you see the kids just like moving things around and like playing with things, and their lips aren't moving, their mouths aren't moving, but their lines are being played over. And I think that's so funny because in my head I'm like, really, like the whole time these kids were just like playing around, and then after they probably just like recorded lines and put it over the film. And I think I love that. But they did a really good job. The acting for the most part was like okay, like good, except for the dad of Tony. He was like horrible actor. Like
I was going to say, like, I'm like, is it just me or is this dad like kind of bad? Like, yeah.
I don't understand how someone can be such a bad actor of such a key role. Like he's probably like a dad in real life, honestly, but it felt so weirdly out of place, and everyone was just like realistic. Even the kids were a better actor than him, honestly.
I actually thought the kid that played Rudolph was his name was actually pretty good, and I thought the sister was also really
she
good.
was in Narnia.
Oh wow! Oh really?
Yeah. I forget who she was in Narnia. She was like one of the. I think she was the older sister in Narnia.
Gotcha. Yeah, but the kids were adorable. I gotta say though, I think Rudolph's other brother, like his hair, like it was just such a weird, like it was like the cool guy mullet of the 2000s, but he's supposed to be like this ancient vampire. but like he's it was so like my mind couldn't comprehend it, like because like the mother and the father, they were all these ancient aristocratic outfits, even the boy and the girl, and then you just see this like punk kid, and I'm like, what? That was just so off to me.
I love it. One thing to also point out is I don't understand this, and it was never explained, but anytime like Rudolph is in the room with Tony, the mom or dad's like, what's that smell? And then it's never like touched upon ever again. And I don't really know why, but I think that's really funny. Um I really like this movie. It was just so fun and so entertaining. And the vampire hunter Rookery, it's such a weird character. The actor Jim Carter does such a good job. He's really such a fun actor and such a good actor. And such a cool truck. I love all the props in this movie. I mean, not props. I just like love the whole aesthetic of this movie. This movie feels like me, honestly. Like I don't know why I connect with it so much. Like I recommend you watch it. Also, real quick, at the end, I was so sad at first because I thought he like made a wish and they just don't come back. Like I was like, is that how it ends? And I got so sad at first. I was like, well, damn, he just like basically killed off his friend and then he comes back at the end, thankfully. But I was so scared at first. I was like, damn, poor Tony doesn't have any friends, gets bullied, gets one friend, kills him off. But no, it's a happy ending. It's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a very cute movie. Cause I don't know if this makes sense, but in a weird way, it like reminds me of Spy Kids.
Yeah.
At least the first one, where it's like one of those movies that is like they're like it's clearly like made for kids, but like there's enough like creativity, and I don't like using as such an overused word for like edginess to it, where it's like something that an adult or like an older person can watch and like find really like charming. Um, and I just gotta say, I actually really liked Jim Carter as the villain. I thought he was he was just a very fun villain, and like he was like a hunter. He was like always sweaty. Like he was just a very fun. He was very good at the as the antagonist. He had like enough menace to him where it was like, okay, like he's really going after it. And there's sorry, you can go.
No. I was just saying, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked him. I liked the boy that played Rudolph, and the kid that played Tony was like, even though like they dubbed like 70% of his lines, like he was the cutest little boy ever that you just couldn't even be mad at him. Like, oh my god, he was adorable. Yeah, the friendship between them was very charming. They there were some actually legit moments of comedy, I thought, in it that weren't just like there were some like the say like silly sound effects and whatnot. But there's this one moment that stands out in my mind where the villain has like this giant cross and it's like lighting up and this bombastic music plays, and then like he thinks Tony's a vampire, so he moves it at him. But then it shines on and off, and then like the music keeps cutting. I don't know why that moment just made me laugh. And then like the little interludes with the cows and like how they keep disappearing. And then at the very end, he's like, "Oh, Betsy, you're all back." And that was just really cute to me.
Yeah. I love the cow thing. It's such a random like subplot, and I think it's so fun. But going back to the kids, so cute. Like honestly, I didn't realize how small or like tiny they were gonna be. Like like I don't even comprehend. They're just like so small. Like not even just like being like, oh, they're young. They're like literally like a foot tall, like in my head. Like they're so tiny. I mean, they're not literally, but they're just like so tiny. And I was like, that's so amusing because they're like the leads of this movie. And you're watching them and they're like not even like speaking their actual lines. Like it's dubbed. I think it was so funny and I loved it. The little kid who plays Tony, he's also like the kid in Stuart Little. I didn't know that.
Oh
And I was
wow!
like, oh, the child actor.
Oh
But
my god!
it's really funny because I looked up the characters after because I wanted to see what they look like now. They're in their 30s, and that like didn't make any. Oh, sorry, that didn't make any sense in my head for some reason. Like it's so weird. And the funny thing is, the kid who plays Rudolph looks exactly like how you would expect him to look now. Like he was literally just like a bigger version of himself. And I think that's so funny. Because he even has like the same grungy aesthetic and look to him now. I love that. But yeah, I really, this was such an entertaining movie, and I watched it with my parents too, and they even liked the movie. And I usually I get bored in like kids movies and stuff like that, but I was never really actually bored in this movie. Like I was always like, oh yeah, nice. Like I was entertained. It's like relatively, it goes by quick. It's like an hour and a half, but it felt
Yeah.
like an hour, honestly.
It
Yeah,
was actually really well paced, I thought. Like I didn't get bored either. Yeah, it was actually really well. I mean, I just said that. Um, there was this one weird moment to me.
mm-hmm.
I mean, there were a lot of weird moments, but like there was this one moment that I just like was like, okay, so it's like when like the Rudolph's parents like open the door. The mother opens first, and then the dad sees her, and then the dad comes. The mom sees him, and I'm like, are they falling in love? Like, cause like this majestic music plays, and they're like staring at them. Like, are they just in awe at the presence? I'm like, are they in love? Cause it's like they're looking at the person of the opposite gender. So I'm like, what? Are we just like kind of looking around?
I think it was some like vampire like powers, because they also go to the guy who's like, you need to kill Tony because he's a vampire, and he like gets under their vampire spell, and he like goes back in the car, and he's like, yeah. And then as soon as he like isn't looking at them anymore, he's like, wait a second. So I think it was more of just like a vampire like magical spell. It was so like randomly placed and came out of nowhere, and it's not mentioned anywhere else in the movie, and I love that. But yeah, it was such a weird moment. I thought it was so funny. Oh, another one of my favorite moments is like the grave digger person who becomes a vampire, and like there's this one moment where Rookery has him like in a truck on like a movable like tray, not tray, like a table that comes in and out of the truck. And at one point he's just like laying down on the table, and then he starts like moving upwards, and Rookery like pushes him back down. And I thought that was really funny too.
That was so funny. Yeah, there was a cute little like there's like a mystery too. Like it wasn't like super like obvious. Everything wasn't super obvious from the beginning. Like it was like, okay, like I know this is a kids movie, but you see a bunch of like kids movies where everything is so. The one that comes to mind, the first one I thought of is like Alvin and the Chipmunks, the live action, which I love, but it's awful. But like it's like certain kids movies like that are just so surface level, and it's just like even like the fucking Minions or whatever, like where it just like relies on you, like, oh look how cute this thing is, isn't it so cute? But like I don't know, like here, like they weren't like, you know, there's like some edginess to it, and there's like a mystery. Like it wasn't just like watch shenanigans for 8 minutes. Like kids had to like think like, oh okay, so there's like a mystery going on with like the Elizabeth woman. So yeah, what would you like, where would you put it on your scale or whatever? I don't know.
Like okay, now I'm gonna justify my scale. Like I'm, because before I wasn't really sure like how I was rating these movies, but I think it was just like my own personal enjoyment and like how I felt about it. And honestly, I'd give this like an 8 out of 10, or maybe like an 8.5, because it was just so much fun, and it like warmed my heart, and it was kind of nostalgic. Like the two most vivid memories from this are Rookery in general, the Gravedigger vampire, the vampire cows, and that one scene where Tony gets like pushed into the tomb and like is in the tomb like trapped. Those are my like most vivid memories, and they're so random. And it was just like so entertaining to watch this movie. So 8.5 out of 10.
So yeah, my scale is a little, I'm gonna sound so pretentious, like I don't want it to come across, but it's more like critically, like I guess, because like there are so many like terrible movies that are like a 1 star, a half star, that like enjoyment wise would be out of 10.
Yeah.
So like I really did like this movie, and I think you should go off of more of what I'm saying rather than my rating. But I'd say like if I were to rate it critically, I would say like for me, I would put it at like a 6 out of 10, I think. Like it means like, you know, like for me a 6 out of 10 is like it was good. You know, like it's a good movie. It's very cute. It's not like, it sounds like it's not like pushing the bounds of what a children's movie is. It's just a very fun movie, which I think children today would really like. And if you want to watch something that isn't just Minions for the 800th time, I don't know what parents are putting on for their kids, or I would recommend it. I think it's a very charming film.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to just like have a fun movie that like you don't have to think of anything and it's not like sad or like I don't know, emotionally like straining,
Yeah.
just watch this movie. It's so much fun. And
I,
if you have some nostalgia with it, like it's gonna make it even better. Yeah.
I absolutely love this rating on audience reviews. If you just Google it, um, oh my god, where is it? There's like this one rating where they said something really funny. Um, more audience reviews. Oh, here it is. I loved the dialogue. I couldn't help but love the gay tension. It was the best thing ever.
God, literally no, at one point there was just like a cute moment between Tony and Rudolph when they're on the blimp, and I was like, me and who? Honestly, like I need me a Rudolph.
Yeah. Oh
They're
my
just so
god.
funny.
Oh my god. Yeah, they were so cute. I'm like, oh. Yeah. So I guess those are our thoughts on so Natalie and I are both doing a show. We're doing a comedy of errors, if you will. So when do you think, so Natalie, when do you anticipate us posting next? Because I guess one thing we can do is if we want to post at the end of the week, we can do something kind of light and fun or whatever. Or what were you thinking?
Um, I don't know. I know Friday I have like the most free time to like we want to like talk during then, but watching a movie or something then is might be tricky. Like before then it might be tricky because we have like tech and like there's so much stuff going on. So I don't know.
We
But
can decide it
yeah.
after the episode. So I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but we're on YouTube for the time being. We anticipate coming back once in a little bit, but for now, check out. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Podbean, like, comment any suggestions. Yeah, subscribe. Yeah. All right, that's about it. Bye.